Alright, so I did my presentation on Muslims and Arabs post 9/11. So post 9/11, Muslims and Arabs were accused of all being terrorists. Even if they weren't, they were just living their life, and everybody just thought that they were terrorists. And so they were getting hate crimes against them and hated on for something that they didn't do themselves. And then post 9/11, Islam was stereotyped to promote violence. Even if they really didn't, that's just how the news portrayed it, and that's how people portrayed Islam, is that they were violent. Let's see. So the causes of these accusations is that they were stereotyped because a few of them did something bad, and so even like Muslims and Arabs living in America, and they were a citizen of America, they were still being accused and hated on in this hate crime, and that's just because of what happened during. Okay, so the effects of the accusations, they really hurt Muslim and Arabs' mental health. This quote from the American Psychology Association, it says that the majority of the study participants were Muslims. Half the study participants had depression serious enough to warrant further assessment, they found, and a quarter reported moderate to severe anxiety. Those rates are higher than those of the general public and other minority groups. And so that just proves that when they did studies and they did tests on these Muslim Americans and these Arab Americans about their mental health and how they were, like, mentally, physically, how their family was, that it was not good. And it was the depression rate for them was higher than the normal American living citizen post 9/11. Okay, so this is happening everywhere in the world. It's not just in the United States. So in the whole world, people are portraying Muslims and Arabs to be violent and that they're gonna do like these really bad things to their country, which just isn't the case. And it's all because of what a few of them did, a few Muslims or Arabs did, and so that is making all of them portrayed differently, even though it should not, and that is not okay. So there's this stat by the Religion News Service, and it states that Islamophobia has gotten worse. In recent years, anti-Muslim hate crimes have reached a record high, far exceeding the spike in attacks that occurred in the wake of 9/11. So although it didn't happen, like, they're worse than they were after 9/11, and that's just saying something, because 9/11 was pretty bad, and the fact that they're getting worse should prove a point to somebody, because they're not all bad. Most of them aren't bad. They're not bad at all. It's just because the acts of a few of them are causing this stereotypical image on all of them. Okay, so this is very similar to the Salem witch trials, because people are being accused even though they didn't do anything, and there's nothing they can do about it. The Salem witch trials were very extensive in the way they did things, and so was this. There's people protesting against Muslims, hate crimes towards Muslims, burning down like everything that Muslims use, making fun of what they wear, everything. And so Muslim hate crimes have gone up, and now people are being accused for doing something they didn't do, and that's exactly what happened in the Salem witch trials. Okay, so the differences between Muslims and Arabs being accused after 9/11 and the Salem witch trials is that the Muslim and Arabs being accused and hated on is still happening today, whereas the Salem witch trials are not. And Muslim and Arabs are getting this kind of representation anywhere in the world, where the Salem witch trials were just like one little like town or a couple little towns. And so this is happening everywhere in the world. Everywhere you go, there'll be something about hating Muslims and Arabs. And depending on where you go in the world, the punishment will be worse. Whereas when you got accused of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials, it was either like hanging or just like rocks on top of you, something like that, like getting pressed to death. Whereas this, they'll burn Muslims, they'll burn everything they believe in, they'll go after and attack them with bats and guns and everything, and it's terrible on how they do it. So there's more ways that people are trying to get after and kill Muslim and Arabs than there was during the Salem witch trials. They're getting this because they're labeled as terrorists, by some people, even though they didn't do it. So, like, there could be a few that did do a terrorist thing, but that does not mean you should stereotype and accuse all Muslims and Arabs of doing it. So if we stop accusing people of doing something they didn't do, then we'd be better, because Muslim depression rates are up, Arab depression rates are up, and Muslim and Arab female male, they can get it worse than if you look at a typical U.S. citizen that looks like a typical U.S. citizen. Even though they are U.S. citizen, they look different, and so people just portray them as way different, and that's not okay. And LGBTQ Muslims and Arabs are getting it so much worse because people think that they don't exist, and they do, and so people are attacking them for being LGBTQ and Muslim or Arab. So if we all come together and we try to bring peace, then we could have a happy world. And I know that's not going to happen. We can dream about it one day, though.